Alright, feeling a little feisty today. Trimmed the beard for summer. Hair, beards, too much with Texas heat. And all that said, today we're going to talk about what is and what definitely is not an icon. What's up, my people? Welcome back. So very glad that you are here. It's an absolutely humid humid day in the garden. So many beautiful things are blooming right now, and we're going to talk today about beauty. Got beautiful things blooming. We're going to talk about beauty real quick. Couple of things. Number one, please, if you have not already, more, I believe, than 50% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribing. If that's you, please take 2 seconds, click the subscribe button, do the things to help this channel grow. And today we are talking about what is and what is not an icon. If you would like to commission an icon for yourself, for somebody that you love, for a parish priest, somebody, you saw my interview on EWTN and you want to participate in the life of this studio and support it by commissioning an icon, go to GarrettHines.com and commission an icon. I would love, it is my genuine honor and pleasure to write icons for our Catholic brothers and sisters. So please go there, check that stuff out, send me a contact form, and let's get you an icon going today. Now, it is with great consternation, I think I'm using that word correctly, it is with great consternation that I am going to talk about today what is and what is not an icon. Let's take this icon as an example. You know, recently I received a commission request from a patron to write an icon of St. Teresa of Calcutta. This is, for modern iconographers, a particularly interesting challenge because in our modern culture we have video and photographs. We know exactly what Mother Teresa looked like. We know exactly what St. Pope John Paul II looked like. We know exactly what Padre Pio looks like. I mean, fill in the list, man. We know what these beautiful saints looked like in the time in which they were living the fallen human existence on earth before they passed into the kingdom of heaven. And as modern iconographers, we have this problem of the modern culture in the West, which is raised on Renaissance art. And so the expectation is that when you commission something, it's just a dove. When you commission an icon, there's an expectation that what you're going to be presented with is a visual representation of the exact likeness of someone like Saint Teresa of Calcutta. And the problem is that this is not an icon. Now, we got to differentiate a couple of our terms here, or maybe I should say it differently. We need to differentiate the use of a singular term, iconography, or an icon. Because you see, in modern culture, we have icons, which are images, right? And an icon is simply just an image, by definitional means, is what I'm referring to. By definition, an icon is a created image, okay? That's just the pure definitional sense. However, as Catholics, we have not just the definition, but we have the sacramental. And there is a difference. And this is really, really important, and I'm going to illustrate that here in a second. There's a difference between just an image, right? So if I go to an artist and I buy a beautiful painting of Jesus and he's standing on the mount giving the sermon, the Beatitudes, that you could make the argument that by definition that's an icon. But it is not an icon in the sense of a sacramental. The difference between the two things is, one, the tradition under which it was written or painted, if you want to exchange the words, and the prayer that goes into it. Okay, so a sacramental icon is an icon that we in the Catholic Church and in the Eastern Orthodox Church and in the Coptic Church use to aid us in prayer and our growth in holiness. And there is a specific tradition under which that sacramental must adhere. There are rules and guidelines and practices that we as iconographers must adhere to in order to write a truly sacramental icon. So when you see an image like the one that I've been showing you of Saint Teresa of Calcutta, what you're seeing is not an icon, because it breaks two of the rules. Number one, it is representational of who she was on earth in the fallen state. Because see, as an iconographer, I don't write icons of who people were. I write icons of who people are. Right? So Saint Mother Teresa, is it even okay to say it that way? Saint Teresa of Calcutta passed from this life into the kingdom of heaven and is now in the kingdom of heaven operating as intercessor for those of us in the church militant who are still fighting the good fight. There is a transformation that happens. And in iconography, what we're trying to represent is the reality that when we enter into the kingdom of heaven, we are who we were and we are who we are, but there is a transformation that happens when we pass through the veil of death into the kingdom of heaven. And so icons should never look like portraits. If you have an icon that looks like a portrait, I'm sorry to tell you, it's not an icon. Not in the sacramental sense. Is it an icon in the sense that it's a created image that helps us remember who Saint Teresa was and is? Sure. But if you are bringing an icon into your home in order to receive the graces that God has to give you through that specific sacramental, then if you have this, you're not receiving those graces, and that's the argument I'm willing to make and I'm willing to stand by. So, and I said there's a second rule that, an image like this breaks, and that is the image of prayer. Whoa, that was all kinds of jumbled up. The second rule that it breaks is the requirement for prayer. And if you go back and watch the video on why I don't make printed reprints, why I don't do prints of my icons, it's because there is prayer that goes into creating that image. And I don't know who wrote that icon that looks like a Renaissance portrait or Renaissance-esque portrait. I'm willing to make the case that if they broke one rule, they probably broke several. And one of those being, I don't know that that image was prayed over in the same sense in which icons that iconographers like myself are praying through over and over and over. Now, when I write an icon for a commission, it is start to finish bathed in prayer. And to me, an image like this does not come across as something that has been bathed in prayer. Maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm not, I would hate to think that people have received an icon like that and have it in their home and think that they are receiving the same graces that they would be receiving if they had an icon written by an iconographer who's actually doing what they are required to do within the tradition. So let me kind of make this analogy. Imagine you go to Mass and the priest is there and, oh shoot, it's raining. We had to move because it started to rain, and that's not good for, camera. Okay, so imagine you go to Mass and the priest is there, and instead of what is, traditionally considered a host, he has little circles of, like Wonder Bread, and they haven't been prayed over, they haven't been consecrated. The normal prayers and consecration things that are required for that piece of host to become body and blood haven't been prayed. He says they have been, but they haven't. And then he goes to receive that, and you think you're receiving the Eucharist, but in reality you're not, because the requirements for that to be what is said that it is Hope that sentence made sense. In order for it to be the Eucharist, the things have to have happened for it to become the Eucharist. It's the same with iconography. People can tell you that they've written you an icon. They can tell you that they've created an icon of a saint. But unless they're adhering to the tradition, the graces that would be there because of the iconographer's willingness to adhere to the tradition are not there. And the reason I care so much about this is not because I'm an iconographer, not because I'm Catholic, but because I want people to have in their home what they think they have. And I think a lot of faithful Catholics have these created images in their home and they think they're icons and they're not. And so they wonder, like, why am I not receiving the graces? Why am I not walking in light of the things that I thought I would be? And I think that is in part because there are those out there who are selling what they're calling icons that are not icons. And I care so much because the sacramental of iconography is an incredible gift that the church gives us, that Christ gives us through his church. And I want people to have in their home the thing that they think they have. And I care about that because I care so much because I despise the modern approach to mass production of things and the selling of things just for the sake of selling them. And I think as Catholics, we should require better. I think we should care more about things like this. Because there's a lot of people out there who are making money off of the pious love of faithful Catholics and giving them things that are not what they say they are, and that's wrong. And I hope that my patrons, the people who support my studio, who are commissioning icons, I hope they continue to hold me to that standard. When I give a patron an icon written in my studio, I'm doing everything I can to adhere to the tradition so that what people receive is exactly what they think they have. And I am tired of seeing these companies out there who are robbing faithful Catholics of the opportunity to have this beautiful sacramental in their home. Now, if that's you, and you have one of these non-icon icons in your home, I don't think you need to trash the thing. I don't think you need to get rid of it. I think it's important to just recognize that it's probably not an icon in the true sacramental sense. And then, when the Lord provides the opportunity, find an iconographer. I do not care if it's me or not. If it's somebody else, wonderful. But if you truly want a sacramental icon, find somebody that is adhering to the tradition, who loves Christ with all of their passion and is willing to adhere to the rules that are required for that sacramental to be what it is. And when you're able, commission one of those, because it's worth it. There are unique graces that come through that gift, just like there are unique graces that come through the rosary. There are unique graces that come through the chotki. There are unique graces that come from sacramental art. Like, it's just, God gives us so many interesting and different things and different graces through those things. I'm going to stop ranting now. But, as I do the work and I do the research, more and more I am finding companies who are selling people things that they're calling icons that are not icons. And that frustrates me. And I hope you join me a little bit in that frustration so that we can call these things out and make space for people who are actually adhering to the tradition so that faithful Catholics have what they think they have in their home. That is all I have for you today. I'm now going to go and write an icon. Till I see you next time. keep climbing.